Be warned.
There you go. Writing inequalities from word problems, part 2. So producing cars and vans. Takes 6 hours to produce a car, 7 hours to produce a van. That's just information. You're probably going to need these as coefficients. The cost to produce a car and a van be 7,500 and 15,000 respectively. So car, van, right? These numbers apply to car and van. Restrictions. So here are your inequalities basically. Sometimes I will do it like this. Sometimes it'll just be embedded in the question. You have to figure out what the restrictions are. So look for keywords. So the company needs to produce at least 9 vehicles per day to stay profitable. It just talks about vehicles in general. Okay, this is important. This is X and Y that we're talking about. So you can say, oh, we should define our variables. I'll let X be number of cars, and I'll let Y be number of vans. And we'll say that X and Y both have to be greater than or equal to 0. And we know that this is discrete. Discrete. So we're going to have to round our POIs, right? We can't have partial units. So for this one, right, we need, I'm going to write this one down here. X plus Y has to be at least 9. Okay, that's our first inequality here. I might do an arrow here. Right there. And then the maximum that can be spent is 225,000 per day. So the maximum and dollar amount. So we're going to use the dollar amounts up here. So 7,500 X plus 15,000 Y, that has to be less than or equal to 225,000. Okay, that's this one right here. There are 115 hours of production time available. That's when we're going to go and look at the hours here. So we're going to go 6x plus 7y, because this will be giving you hours, has to be less than or equal to 115. Due to demand, this is the tricky one here. I'm going to put a star on that one. This is the hot dogs and the burgers or sandwiches one that we did before. You were kind of a little bit puzzled as to why I put the 2 on the other variable. This is the one. Due to demand, the company makes twice as many or more vans compared to cars. So I just go, I make them face each other, right? And then you ask yourself, which one do you want to make more of? You want to make more vans. So you're going to make it face that way, that's for sure. And then the 2 you're going to put in front of the X in this case, right? Because if you make one car, you want to go 2 times 1. You want this side to be 2 so that Y be greater than or equal to 2. If you make 5 cars, you go 2 times 5 is 10. That ensures that the number of vans will be greater than or equal to 10. Right? So that's kind of the reasoning behind it. So this is inequality 3. I'm just going to leave it there for now. Define variables, we've done that. State the implicit constraint, we've done that. Write the inequalities, we've done that. So now we're going to graph. This one is very easy to do. I will already just say it's 9, 0, 0, 9. I'm not even going to do the box anymore, like the whole where I actually show my work. Okay, that's fine. If there's 1 and 1 as your coefficient, this is your x and y intercept. And then let's rewrite it. This would be negative x plus 9. Also important. Here I would say it's solid. They're all solid, by the way. True region is above because it's greater than. So I'm going to shade below. Emphasis on the shading. Emphasis on the shading. Next, I'm going to do this one a little bit messier. So I'm actually going to do this part. So this would be 7,500x is equal to 225,000. Let me zoom into that. divide by 7,500. X is equal to 30. Happens to be a nice round number. So 30, 0 is my x-intercept. For the y, it's 15,000. Y is equal to 225. Divide by 15,000. And that's also a nice round number. There are my x and y intercepts. I need that to graph. This is just for graphing purposes and to make sure everything jives. Okay, so let's rewrite this thing. I'm going to go 15,000 y is less than or equal to the 7,500 comes over, crosses the equal sign or inequality symbol, sorry. So it's negative 7,500x plus 225,000. Divide everything by 15,000. You haven't done this in a while, but in word problems, you don't really have negatives, so you don't flip the sign. As far as my examples go, it won't happen unless you have one of those questions that has numbers. First number, second number, their difference is this. 2 times the first plus 3 times the second is greater than or equal to 50, or something like that, then you could have a negative there. So y is less than or equal to, I'm just going to leave this. Watch. I know it's ugly, but it's okay, right? Just have them stacked, and then plus 225,000 divided by 15,000 is 15. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. I know some of you can't help it, like it bothers you. Did I show you how to simplify fractions on the calculator? Okay, here it is, because you might need it next year. It's as easy as you just go 7,500 divided by 15,000. Actually type that in, and then we go math. Once you've pressed that, you go math, and the first option is fractions, right? So you hit enter and enter one more time. It says what it is. It's 1/2. Right? It will reduce. So that's why I don't give marks for reducing fractions anymore, because you could just do this, right? And then it's done. So there's no skill really behind that. And the province in grade 12, you don't need to reduce. You don't need. You need to be able to reduce at times when it's like multiple choice. They'd be like, the slope is 15 over 3. What is it? It's actually 5, right? Like you should be able to at least figure it out. Anyway, solid. True is below, right? True is below. I will shade above. And this is what I focus on. Where am I going to shade? And then the last one here. X-intercept, Y-intercept. 6x is equal to 115. Divide both sides by 6. That actually gives you 19.17 rounded. And that is okay, because we're using this for graphing purposes. Then the y-intercept, 7y is equal to 115. Y is equal to 16.43. So that's 0, 16.43. There are my y-intercepts. Let's rewrite it. 7y is less than or equal to negative 6x plus 115. Divide everything by 7. Y is negative 6 over 7x. Plus, I'm just going to leave this like that. I'm not going to turn this into a decimal because it continues. Okay, so there we go. Solid. True region is below. Shading is above. I know we focus on the shading, but it's really where the true region is that we're after at the end of the day. Reverse shading helps us find that. I rewrote. There's the one, I call this the pain in the butt scenario, right? You know what I'm talking about, this one. How do you graph this? Both intercepts are 0, 0, okay? X-intercept, y-intercept, they're both 0, 0. So point number 1 is going to be 0, 0. You have to figure out a second point. Okay, so we're going to be strategic. We're going to deal with this one. Y is equal to 2. And what do you want to let x be? It can be anything you want. Based on what I see here, I see 9s and I see 30s, 15s, 19. I'm going to let x be 10. So you know that the point will have 10 for the x variable, and then it's 2 times 10. Y is going to be 2 times 10, which is 20. That is my, so literally you can pick anything you want for x and plug it in and then find what y is, and that's your y variable. So you found your second point here. Maybe I should say this, let x be 10. Okay, so you plug that in there, and then you get your y. So if you let x be 5, then y would have been 10. It doesn't matter. You're just trying to find one more point that's on this line. Okay, and there you go. So these are our 2 points basically. That's it. That's all you need. It's already rewritten. So that's a solid. True region is above. We're going to shade below, right? Based on that. It's already rewritten. I'm going to circle the shading. Do you want to clean this up a bit more? Maybe some of you need to like make sure, right? Chunk, 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 and another chunk. And let's go ahead and graph this now. Let me just move this a bit, otherwise everything is going to crumble down on me here. Okay, let's graph this. At some point, I'll get to the graph. There you go. Set my ruler. So there we go. Just make it fit, right? Whatever you have. I'm going to go like this and like this. If I give you a grid, beautiful, right? You're just going to use what I give you there. This would be number of vans. This would be number of cars. And let me see here. The biggest x-intercept that I see is 30. Sorry, I should probably have this on there. 30 is the greatest. I look at all the x-intercepts. So I'm going to make sure I go up to 30. So I'm going to go 10, 20, 30. That'd be too compact. So I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Try to spread it out if possible. Try to spread it out. And then over here, the biggest y value, y-intercept right now is 19, I see. So let's see here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, that'll work. So consistent scale is what we're after. There you have it. And plot one at a time. 9, 0, 9, 0, 9, or 9, 0, 0, 9. Okay, that's my first line. Make a little side and then just go x plus 9 is less than or equal to 9. 30, 0, 0, 15. That's right there. This one is 7,500x plus 15,000 y. That one right there. The next one is 19.17 and 0.16. So don't try to make sure you don't mix these up. This is your y-intercept. This is the x-intercept. So this should be very close to 20 here. And then 16 is right about there. Just have to be careful. Okay. Let's label this one. That one is 6x plus 7y is less than or equal to 15. Sorry, 115. And then the last one, we are at 0, 0 here. And the one we picked is 10, 20. So we're going to go 10 and then all the way up to 20, right about there. And let's graph that one. This one gets an arrowhead because it keeps going. So this is that one. I need you to understand this. It doesn't happen very often, right? If you had picked 5, it would have been 5, 10. Would have been right here. That would have also given you the exact same line, okay? So you're just picking another point on this graph. Now we're ready to shade. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to give you a strategy that's going to save you a lot of work. I'm going to graph this first on the calculator and see if this matches what I have on my screen. That's just a way. You're going to have to do it anyways to find the POIs. So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure I didn't miss an X anywhere. That's one thing you want to check for. None of these represents a vertical or a horizontal line, right? None of them, but it could happen. So let's hit graph. My window's terrible. Oh, the one shows up. I'm gonna try zoom actually, no. I already know what my window's supposed to be, right? X max, I'm gonna go to 35. And Y max, I'm also just gonna go to 35. And for both, my mins are just slightly to the left of the x-intercept, x-axis, and below the y-axis. Below x-axis to the left of the y-axis. And it does look like what I have on my paper here, except for, right, you can tell that the calculator keeps going. That's besides the point. It doesn't know that this is a word problem, right? There we go. Let's shade this in now, one at a time. This one, I told myself shade below. The next one, I told myself shade above. So that's this one right here. So you have to be careful. I almost mixed it up, but it's this one right here. This one that goes to 30. And so we shade everything above just lightly because you don't want to get rid of your labels, right? So that's all false for this one, and therefore it's false for the system. The next one, shade above as well. So I go to this one here, and I shade everything above that line. And most of it is false already anyways. So just go ahead and do this. And the last one here is shade below. So you go to this line and start shading below. we go. And write in solution. Voila. Okay. And state a possible solution. We'll do that in a bit. You know what? 0, 10 would be possible solution, right? 0, 10. So that would be E. A possible solution. 0, 10. Okay. This 0, 10 right there. It's within the white region there. Let's find the POIs now. There are how many? Is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 POIs here. You see that? Everybody sees. This one is the hardest one to see, but that's where 2 lines meet and it's surrounding the solution region. So that's a POI. So let's write them down. Let's do the ones we don't need a calculator for. Like this one right here is 0, 15. I just read that one. This one down here, along the y-axis, that's 0, 9. I just read that one off the graph. So now I just need to find these 3 here. I'm just down to these 3 with the calculator. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll let you try to find those 3 for a bit. Can you find those 3 POIs that are still pending? These 3 here. Go ahead. I'm going to freeze my screen. You hopefully found them already. I'm going to focus on this one down here first. Second trace 5. I'm on the blue line. You don't see the cursor, but I am. I'm going to come closer there. So hit enter there. And I'm going to jump until I get to the pink line. That'd be 3, 6. Okay. So 3, 6. I used my calculator for that one. It's already rounded, so that's perfect. I'm going to focus on the pink and the black. Second trace 5. I'm going to jump. Oh, I'm on the pink, so let's start with the pink. No harm there. Pink. Cycle through till you get to the black line. Enter, enter. So that's 5.75, 11.5. That one you need to round. Let's do that right away. So 6, 12. And then we have to find the intersection between the black and the red. If you're not sure, you can always use zoom in. Okay, zoom. If you're not sure like what's happening, you zoom into where those 2 meet right there, and then you go second trace 5. I'm going to cycle through till I get to the black or red. I'm on the black line, enter, cycle through to get to the red, enter, enter. So it's 413. Right, so this was also calculator, this is also calculator. So there were a few points that I needed the calculator for, and the other ones I just read. Maybe I will highlight. There's one there, one there, one there. And that is basically how far we're going to get today with this. Are there any questions about any of the other ones you've done? Any ones that I've assigned that you're like, how did you do that? You can always feel free to come and see me, making sure. Maybe, let me just flip through it. Is there something that I can possibly point out? Go to 52. I don't know if you realize, but these are questions that we already did before. I'm just asking you to graph it, but I think it would be good practice to still write the inequalities without peeking. 52, this one right here. He would like to DJ a minimum of 2 weddings per week. This one is specific to just the X variable. It's going to be, is it weddings? Oh, hold on, weddings. Oh, no, sorry, Y variable. So this one is just an inequality that involves the Y variable. That's it. So it's a horizontal line. They're actually fairly easy to do. I'll give you a hint. This one will have, the AC that I'm giving you has special cases. Okay, so just read carefully. Okay, I'm gonna stop there for now. We'll see how far we get. If you, yeah, I'll let you start and then I'll just finish 57 and 58. Take it home, put the THAC on there, take home AC. I'll put a reminder on Google Classroom. Do reminders help you? Yeah, you actually check? Yeah? Okay. I'll schedule a reminder. What, Sunday at 4 afternoon? 4 in the morning, you're probably still up, right? Don't do that. But 57, page 57, 58, one has 2 inequalities, one has 3. Okay? And I did some digging. I found a video for each one of these from 2020. That was a bad year, right? So I actually posted those as well. So if you're really stuck, one is like 10 minutes, the other one is 13. So if you're stuck, maybe just fast forward to the part you're stuck on and it will help you. Yeah. Yep.